The movie starts with a woman named Alice who lives with her 2 daughters in a house. The year is 1967. Recently, her husband has passed away, and all 3 of them are struggling to move on from the grief. To support the household, Alice pretends to be a spirit medium, claiming to connect people with the spirits of their loved ones. However, this is entirely false, and her daughters, Doris and Paulina, assist her in the deception. One day, Paulina attends a party at a friend's house where her friends decide to play with an Ouija board. They can connect with the spirits through this board. According to the game's rules, it must never be played alone, never be used in a graveyard, and must always be ended by saying goodbye. As the game begins, the planchette surprisingly moves. Paulina is not very impressed, considering it a mere trick, and soon leaves for home. On her way, she suggests to Alice that they should get an Ouija board for their house, as it would make deceiving their clients much easier. Alice agrees and brings one home the next morning. After placing the board in the house, Alice leaves to pick up Doris from school. Meanwhile, Doris is being bullied at school, but she keeps it to herself. Upon returning home, Alice decides to test the Ouija board, ignoring the game's rules. She plays it alone and notices the planchette moving. She starts asking questions to any spirit present, but instead of receiving answers through the board, Doris upstairs becomes possessed and starts responding to Alice's questions. When Alice asks the spirit's name, Doris, under possession, replies Marcus. This means that the entity possessing Doris is named Marcus. Shortly after, as Alice stops playing the game, Doris also returns to normal. However, Alice unknowingly breaks one of the game's essential rules. She does not say goodbye before ending the session. Later, Doris approaches the Ouija board herself. She believes it can connect people with the spirits of their loved ones and attempts to contact her deceased father, Roger. To her surprise, the planchette moves, making her think she has successfully communicated with him. The next day, Doris goes to school where Father Tom, the head of the school, calls Alice. He suspects that Alice has helped Doris with her homework because it is exceptionally well done, far beyond her usual performance. However, Alice denies assisting her. After returning home, Alice learns that their house is about to be sold because she has been unable to pay the rent since Roger's death. While Alice and Paulina worry about this, Doris continues playing with the Ouija board. Through the board, she learns about a hidden room in the basement where a cupboard contains a large sum of money. She tells Alice, who checks and finds the money exactly as described. This makes Alice believe that Doris has genuinely connected with her father's spirit. Now convinced of the board's authenticity, Alice, along with her daughters, decides to use it to talk to Roger. To confirm that the spirit is truly him, she asks a personal question that only Roger would know the answer to. When she receives the correct response, she becomes certain that the spirit communicating through Doris is indeed her husband. Believing in the Ouija board's power, Alice plans to use it to help her clients connect with their deceased relatives. However, Paulina refuses to support her in this plan. Despite this, Alice continues, using Doris as a medium to fool clients. Over time, Doris stops going to school, and while using the board, she starts making eerie sounds that resemble the voices of the client's deceased family members. This makes people trust them even more, and their business flourishes. However, Doris begins experiencing persistent pain in her neck, as if she is carrying an unseen burden. To investigate, she looks at herself in the mirror through the planchette and sees an evil spirit clinging to her shoulder. Terrified, she screams, and the spirit immediately enters her body, fully possessing her. Now completely under the entity's control, Doris appears normal but whispers something to Paulina, which causes Paulina to have terrifying nightmares. The next day at school, when some kids try to bully Doris, she uses her supernatural abilities to harm them. Later, back at home, Paulina's friend, Mikey, visits. While talking to him, Doris speaks in a disturbing manner, describing how it feels to be strangled to death. Her words unsettle Mikey. That evening, when Paulina enters her room, she notices that someone has stitched the lips of her doll. This sight makes her angry, and she assumes that Doris is responsible. However, Doris denies it and claims that their father did it. She explains that he wanted to silence the voices coming into the house, the voices that Doris had been hearing lately. Hearing this, Paulina becomes frightened and tells Alice that she suspects Doris is losing her sanity. Doris has been acting strangely. One night, they discover that Doris has written some notes in Polish, even though no one in their family knows the language. Paulina takes these papers to school and requests Father Tom to help translate them. After translating the pages, Father Tom visits their house in the evening. He asks Alice for an Ouija board session because he wants to connect with his late wife. The session begins, and Father Tom asks Doris what his wife's middle name was. The planchette moves and spells out Lynn. During the session, Doris also speaks in a voice that sounds like Father Tom's wife, surprising everyone. The session appears successful, but after it ends, Father Tom requests to speak with Alice and Paulina privately. He reveals that the session was not successful at all. His wife's middle name was actually Catherine, not Lynn. Doris said Lynn because, after hearing the question, Father Tom subconsciously thought of that name. This means that Doris does not actually communicate with spirits but instead reads people's minds and tells them what they want to hear. The voices she produces are just random sounds, but people imagine them as the voices of their loved ones. Even the voice she produced in the session was not even his wife's. Alice then asks how Doris is able to do all this. Father Tom explains that she is possessed by an evil spirit that is controlling her actions. He also tells Paulina that the pages she brought to him contain the story of a man named Marcus. Marcus was from Poland and came to Los Angeles during World War II. A mad doctor captured Marcus and performed horrifying experiments on him. This doctor was a psychopath who abducted many people, experimented on them, and locked them in his basement before finally killing them. The house where Alice and her family currently live actually belongs to the same doctor. All the people he killed remain buried within the house, turning it into a graveyard. As known earlier, one of the Ouija board rules states that the game should not be played in a cemetery. However, Alice unknowingly breaks this rule, putting everyone in grave danger. Father Tom continues explaining that the translated pages reveal Marcus's experience of death. He is now a spirit who has lost all emotions but can still sense things. For years, he has remained in this world with other spirits, trapped in the same house. Marcus writes in the pages that the spirit world is cold and silent. No one can speak or make a sound. However, he has found a voice through Doris. This is why Doris can answer Alice's questions correctly. Marcus has always been present among them. Doris sits on the sofa with horrifying eyes and her mouth wide open. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door and she returns to normal. She answers the door to find Mikey and greets him before leading him to the basement. While exploring, Mikey finds skulls and remains of dead bodies, which frighten him. Behind him, Doris starts exhibiting unnatural behavior, twisting her body in unnatural ways. She then attacks Mikey, her eyes turning completely white. She strangles him to death. Meanwhile, Father Tom finishes his meeting and returns downstairs with Alice and Paulina. They are shocked to see Mikey's lifeless body hanging in the middle of the room, appearing as if he committed suicide. Horrified, Father Tom rushes to the basement and discovers multiple human skulls hidden inside the walls. He immediately instructs Alice to burn the Ouija board. They manage to destroy the board, but shortly after, it mysteriously reappears on the table, completely intact. At the same time, Doris is nowhere to be found. Father Tom then hears strange noises behind the walls and finds a hidden door leading to a secret room, the laboratory where the mad doctor used to conduct experiments on humans. Inside, Doris stands possessed. As soon as Father Tom enters, the spirits take control of him. Now possessed, he violently attacks Alice and Paulina, forcing them to run for their lives. The spirit eventually chokes Father Tom to death. Meanwhile, the possessed Doris goes after her mother and sister. She captures her mother, knocks her unconscious, and drags her to the basement. Paulina, on the other hand, finds herself with the spirit of her father. He takes her to her room and explains that the only way to fix everything is to silence the voices coming from the spirit world. Since the spirits use Doris as a medium, Paulina must sew Doris's lips shut, just like how her father had sewn her doll's lips in the past. Determined to save her mother, Paulina grabs a stitching needle and rushes to the basement. Doris is just about to kill her mother when Paulina attacks her. However, multiple spirits try to stop Paulina, their dark hands reaching out to grab her. Despite this, she does not hesitate and manages to sew Doris's lips shut, just like her doll. As soon as she does this, Doris dies. After death, Doris's soul reunites with her father's spirit and finds peace. However, the spirits now possess Paulina. Under their control, she kills her own mother. Once she realizes what she has done, she screams in horror. The scene cuts to years later, showing Paulina in a mental hospital. She is accused of murdering her mother and sister. During a conversation with Doctor, it is revealed that the police never found Doris's body, and Paulina has never spoken about it. The doctor sends Paulina back to her room, where she uses her own blood to recreate an Ouija board. She attempts to summon her sister's spirit. Process works, and soon Doris's spirit appears next to her. As the doctor walks past Paulina's room, he senses something unusual. He stops at the door, looking inside, but sees nothing abnormal. However, he fails to notice that Doris's ghost hangs menacingly behind him, staring with an evil grin. With this chilling scene, the movie ends. I hope you liked my video. If you did, please like and share it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We keep bringing such content regularly. Peace.